The massive alien ship cut through Earth's blue sky like a dark blade. Its shadow fell across the Swiss mountains as it descended toward the first contact facility in Geneva. Admiral Tae-min watched from the command center, his hand steady on the control panel despite the historic moment unfolding before his eyes. "Sir, they're requesting permission to land," reported Captain Jin Ho from his communications station. The young officer's voice carried a slight tremor, but his training held firm. "Granted," Tae-min replied calmly. He turned to the woman beside him. "Dr. Sojin, are you ready for this?" The xenobiologist adjusted her translation device and nodded. Her years of studying alien languages from intercepted signals had prepared her for this moment, though nothing could truly prepare anyone for first contact with a galactic civilization. As ready as anyone can be for meeting beings who've been traveling the stars for thousands of years. The alien vessel settled onto the designated landing pad with surprising grace for something so large. It was sleek and silver, covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed directly. Steam rose from its hull as it cooled in Earth's atmosphere. Within minutes, a ramp extended from the ship's belly. The first alien to emerge was tall and thin, with pale blue skin that seemed to glow faintly in the afternoon sun. Behind him came 11 others, each representing a different species. Some walked on 2 legs, others floated, and one moved on what appeared to be 6 insect-like limbs. The blue-skinned alien stepped forward. When he spoke, his words came through a device that translated them into perfect English. "I am Ambassador Velthar of the Galactic Council. I speak for the dominion of civilized worlds that spans this galaxy." Dr. Sojin stepped forward to meet him, flanked by Admiral Tae-min and a small team of Earth's best diplomats and scientists. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador. I am Dr. Sojin representing humanity. We're honored by your visit." Velthar's expression remained neutral, though his large eyes seemed to judge everything around him. "Honor is not why we have come. We are here on official business of the Galactic Council." The delegation moved to the conference room that had been specially prepared for this meeting. The aliens took their seats around the large table, their various forms requiring different accommodations. Velthar placed a small device on the table's surface and holographic images appeared above it. "Behold the Galactic Council," he announced. The images showed vast space stations, countless ships, and dozens of different worlds. "For 10,000 years we have brought order and civilization to the galaxy. We have ended wars, unified trade, and created lasting peace among the stars." Tae-min leaned forward slightly. "That sounds impressive. What does this have to do with Earth?" "Everything," Velthar replied. His tone carried the weight of absolute authority. "Your species has reached the point where it can no longer be ignored. You have nuclear weapons, space travel, and radio signals that reach beyond your solar system. Under galactic law, you must now choose your place in the cosmic order." Dr. Sojin exchanged a quick glance with Tae-min. They had discussed this possibility many times. "What exactly are our options, Ambassador?" The holographic display changed to show a formal document covered in alien writing. "There is only one option for primitive species like yours. You will submit to the authority of the Galactic Council. Your world will become a protected territory under our guidance. We will help you advance your technology, improve your society, and take your place among the civilized worlds." "And if we refuse?" asked Tae-min. Velthar's expression hardened. "Refusal is not an option. Species that resist council authority face corrective measures. Your military is primitive compared to ours. Your technology is thousands of years behind our least advanced members. Resistance would be both futile and costly." The other aliens around the table nodded in agreement. One of them, a creature that looked like a cross between a lizard and a bird, spoke up. "The Council has brought peace to over 3,000 worlds. Not once has a species regretted joining our civilization." Dr. Sojin noticed something interesting in the way the creature spoke. There was something hollow in its voice, something that didn't match its words. She filed this observation away for later analysis. "We appreciate your offer," she said diplomatically. "But surely you understand that such an important decision requires discussion among our people. We can't speak for all of humanity on our own." Velthar seemed surprised by this response. "Discussion? You are the leaders of your species, are you not? Make the decision." "It doesn't work that way on Earth," Tae-min explained. "Our governments represent the will of the people. A decision this important needs input from everyone." The ambassador's blue skin darkened slightly, a sign of irritation. "Very well. You have 72 hours to consult with your people and prepare for integration into the Council. After that time, we will begin the process with or without your cooperation. And what does that process involve? Dr. Sojin asked. Standard procedure, Velthar replied dismissively. We establish administrative centers on your major continents. Your military forces are dissolved and replaced with Council peacekeepers. Your leaders are given positions appropriate to their abilities within the Council structure. Your people begin the education process to prepare them for galactic citizenship. The room fell silent for a moment. Then, to the alien's surprise, Admiral Taman smiled. It wasn't a nervous smile or a frightened one. It was the smile of someone who had just heard exactly what he expected to hear. Dr. Sojin caught the smile and couldn't help but return it. 72 hours should be plenty of time. We'll give you our answer then. Velthar stood, his tall form towering over the humans. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. The Council has been generous in offering you a place among civilized species. Do not throw away this opportunity through primitive pride. We understand completely, Sojin replied, still smiling. Thank you for making your position so clear. The aliens filed out of the conference room, returning to their ship with the satisfied air of beings who had completed a routine task. They had delivered hundreds of similar ultimatums to hundreds of primitive worlds. The pattern was always the same: initial shock, desperate negotiation, and eventual submission. What they didn't know was that humanity had been listening to their communications for months. Hidden deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the wreckage of an ancient alien scout ship had been discovered and studied. From it, Earth scientists had learned to decode galactic communication protocols and had been monitoring Council transmissions across the solar system. Humanity knew the aliens were coming. They knew what the ultimatum would contain, and they had been preparing their response for weeks. As the alien ship lifted off and returned to orbit, Admiral Taman turned to his team. Send the signal. Tell everyone it's time. Dr. Sojin nodded and activated her secure communicator. Around the world, in hidden bunkers and secret facilities, the message was received. The Council has made their offer. Now we show them what humanity is really capable of. The countdown had begun, but Earth wasn't cowering. They were getting ready to give the galaxy something it had never seen before: a species that refused to bow. The countdown timer in the Sol Command Center showed 68 hours remaining. Captain Jinho watched the red numbers tick down while coordinating with military bases across the globe. Every major nation had received the coded message, and the response was unanimous: Earth would not bow. Sir, incoming transmission from the Pacific Deep Research Station, reported Communications Officer Yoon-ji. Her screens showed data streams from the underwater facility where humanity's greatest secret lay hidden. Admiral Taman accepted the call. On the main screen appeared Engineer Hyunwoo, still wearing his diving gear despite being 3 kilometers underwater. Behind him, teams of scientists and engineers worked frantically around the alien wreckage that had changed everything. Admiral, we've made another breakthrough, Hyunwoo announced, his voice crackling through the deep-sea communication system. The power source we extracted is fully compatible with our weapon systems. Daeun's team has successfully integrated it with the Seoul defense grid. Engineer Daeun appeared beside Hyunwoo on the screen, her hands covered in strange alien materials that glowed with their own light. The energy output is incredible, sir. With just one of these cores, we can power the entire city's defensive systems for months, and we found 12 more cores in the wreckage. Dr. Sojin studied the technical readouts flowing across her tablet. The alien scout ship had crashed in Earth's oceans over a century ago, but the deep-sea environment had preserved its technology perfectly. When fishermen accidentally discovered it 6 months earlier, it had taken the world's governments only days to realize what they had found. What about the weapons? Taman asked. Working on it, replied Minsu from his laboratory in Tokyo. The former physicist had become Earth's leading expert on alien military technology. The beam weapons are incredibly advanced, but we're adapting them to work with human targeting systems. Give me another 40 hours and we'll have prototype units ready for field testing. Around the world, similar scenes played out in hidden facilities. In the mountains of Colorado, American engineers studied alien propulsion systems. Deep in the Siberian wilderness, Russian scientists worked to decode alien communication protocols. Beneath the Australian outback, international teams collaborated on reverse engineering alien defensive technologies. The discovery of the scout ship had been kept secret from the public, But world governments had shared the information freely among themselves. Old rivalries and conflicts seemed insignificant when faced with the reality of galactic civilization. Humanity had united not in submission, but in defiant preparation. Status report from the orbital stations, Yunji announced. On the main screen, images appeared from the 3 space stations humanity had hastily constructed in the months since discovering the alien wreckage. They looked primitive compared to the Council ships still in orbit, but they incorporated technology that would surprise any alien who tried to scan them. Station Commander Yujin appeared on screen, floating in zero gravity with Earth visible through the window behind him. All stations are operational, Admiral. We have 36 modified fighters ready for launch, plus the defense platforms. The alien ship doesn't know we're here yet. The stations had been built using a combination of human engineering and alien technology, hidden from the Council ship by the same stealth systems found in the crashed Scout. To the aliens in orbit, Earth appeared to have no space-based defenses at all. Dr. Sojin made her next report from the Intelligence Center. I've been analyzing the Council communications we've intercepted. There are definitely cracks in their unity. 3 species are expressing doubts about the aggressive expansion policies, and several more are asking uncomfortable questions. She brought up holographic displays showing the political structure of the Galactic Council. The Kepler species, the ones who look like tall birds, joined the Council under similar circumstances 300 years ago. Their communications suggest they remember what it was like to lose their independence. The Vorten Empire and the Crystal Collective are also showing signs of dissent. Admiral Taemin studied the data carefully. Can we contact them directly? I'm working on it, Yunji replied. The quantum communication array we built using alien technology should let us reach them without the Council knowing. But we need to be careful. If they report us to the Council leadership, it could trigger an immediate attack. The plan taking shape was unlike anything in military history. Humanity wasn't just preparing to resist the Council's ultimatum. They were preparing to offer the galaxy something entirely different. Every intercepted communication had revealed the same pattern. Species after species forced to bow, their independence stripped away, their cultures suppressed in the name of galactic order. Sir, we're receiving reports from our observation posts, Jinho announced. The Council ship is launching smaller vessels. Looks like they're conducting detailed scans of our major cities. On the tactical display, alien scout craft appeared over New York, London, Beijing, and dozens of other population centers. The scouts moved with casual confidence, clearly expecting no resistance from the primitive world below them. Let them look, Taemin said calmly. They'll see exactly what we want them to see. What the aliens saw were the defensive systems they expected. Missiles, aircraft, and ground-based weapons that posed no threat to galactic-level technology. What they didn't see were the hidden installations powered by their own energy cores, the stealth fighters equipped with adapted alien weapons, or the communication arrays capable of reaching every corner of the galaxy. Deep in the Soul Bunker, cultural analyst Min Jung made a disturbing discovery. Admiral, I've been studying the Council's historical records. Every species they've civilized has undergone the same process. Within 50 years, their original cultures disappear entirely. Their languages, their art, their traditions, all replaced with Council standards. She displayed images from dozens of worlds, all showing the same sterile architecture, the same uniform clothing, the same expressionless faces. It's not just political control they want. They're erasing everything that makes each species unique. The revelation sent a chill through the command center. This wasn't just about Earth's independence, it was about humanity's very identity. How long until the ultimatum expires? Sojin asked. 54 hours, 18 minutes, Yunji replied. Taemin stood and addressed his team. Contact all station commanders. Tell them we move to Phase 2 immediately, and get me a secure line to the other world leaders. It's time to let the Council know what humanity really thinks of their generous offer. Across Earth, the final preparations began. In hidden facilities, alien-enhanced weapons came online. In secret bunkers, communication arrays prepared to broadcast humanity's message to every world in the galaxy. In orbital space, stealth fighters took their positions around the unsuspecting Council ship. The aliens had given humanity 72 hours to submit. Instead, humanity had used those hours to prepare the most audacious response in galactic history. They weren't just going to refuse the Council's ultimatum. They were going to offer every oppressed species in the galaxy a chance to stand up and refuse as well. Dr. Sojin reviewed the message one final time. Written in 37 different alien languages, it would be broadcast simultaneously to every council world. The message was simple but revolutionary. You don't have to bow. There is another way. The countdown continued, but Earth was ready. When the ultimatum expired, the galaxy would discover that humanity's gift wasn't advanced technology or military might. Humanity's gift was something far more dangerous to the Council's authority: hope. In less than 54 hours, everything would change. The Council expected submission or destruction. Instead, they were about to face something they had never encountered before: a species that refused to accept that things had to stay the way they had always been. The countdown timer reached 0 at exactly noon, Geneva time. Ambassador Velthar stood on the bridge of his command ship, expecting to receive Earth's surrender. Instead, every communication channel in the galaxy suddenly came alive with the same transmission. "Greetings, peoples of the galaxy," the voice said in perfect galactic standard language. Admiral Taemin appeared on screens across thousands of worlds. His image broadcast simultaneously to every council member planet. "We are humanity, and we decline your kind offer of vassalage." Velthar's blue skin darkened to deep purple, a sign of extreme agitation. "How are they broadcasting on secured council frequencies? This is impossible." The transmission continued, and Taemin's voice reached species that hadn't heard such words in centuries. "We know that many of you were given the same choice we received: submit or face destruction. We know that most of you chose submission because you saw no other option." On the bridge of his ship, Velthar frantically signaled his communications officer. "Cut the transmission! Block their signal." "I can't, sir," the officer replied, his 6 hands working desperately over the controls. "They're using quantum entanglement protocols. The signal is coming from everywhere at once." Below on Earth, Dr. Sojin monitored the broadcast from the Sol Command Center. The quantum communication array, built using technology from the crashed alien scout, was performing perfectly. Humanity's message was reaching every corner of the galaxy, and nothing could stop it. "Today we want to show you something different," Taemin continued. "We want to show you that there is another choice. You don't have to bow to anyone. You don't have to give up your freedom, your culture, or your independence to live in peace among the stars." The transmission included everything: recordings of the Council's ultimatum, evidence of their forced assimilation policies, and testimonies from the few alien refugees who had managed to escape Council territory over the centuries. For the first time in galactic history, the Council's methods were being exposed to their own citizens. On the Kepler homeworld, tall bird-like beings gathered around public screens, their feathers ruffled with excitement. They remembered their own first contact, their own ultimatum, their own forced submission. Many had never forgotten what they had lost. In the Crystal Collective's territory, living gemstone beings shared the transmission through their crystalline networks. For 300 years, they had been forbidden to create their beautiful light sculptures. The broadcast reminded them of art forms they thought were lost forever. "Sir, we're detecting massive communication spikes on 17 council worlds," reported Yunji from her monitoring station. "The populations are responding to our broadcast. Social media networks are exploding with activity." Velthar activated his own fleet-wide communication system. "All council ships, prepare for immediate punitive action against the human homeworld. These primitives have committed an act of galactic terrorism." But when he tried to contact his fleet, half his ships didn't respond. Captain Sang Ho, monitoring from one of Earth's hidden orbital stations, watched through alien-enhanced sensors as 3 council vessels powered down their weapons and began moving away from the battle formation. "Admiral, it's working," Sang Ho reported. "The Kepler ships are breaking formation. 2 of the Crystal Collective vessels are doing the same. Their crews are refusing orders." On Earth's surface, the response was immediate and decisive. Yujin launched his fighters from the orbital stations, 36 craft that seemed to appear from nowhere around the Council fleet. The alien ships detected them too late. The human fighters were already in attack position using the Council's own stealth technology against them. "This is impossible," Velthar muttered as his sensor showed the human ships. "They're using our own technology." "How did they get our technology?" The answer came from Engineer Hyunwoo, whose voice joined the galactic broadcast from the underwater research station. We learned it from one of your own ships, Ambassador. A scout that crashed on our world over a century ago. Its crew died, but their technology lived on. We studied it, improved it, and made it our own. The first space battle between humanity and the Galactic Council lasted exactly 7 minutes. The human fighters, piloted by Earth's best military aviators and enhanced with alien technology, moved with a grace and unpredictability that confused the Council's automated targeting. Systems. Pilot Sang-ho executed a maneuver that would have been impossible for any Council ship. He flew his fighter directly through the exhaust trail of one alien vessel, using the hot gases to mask his approach before striking the ship's weapons array. The Council ship, built for overwhelming superiority against primitive opponents, had no defense against such creative tactics. Council Fleet, this is Admiral Taemin. The transmission continued. We offer you the same choice you offered us. Withdraw from Earth space peacefully, and you will not be harmed. Continue your attack, and we will defend ourselves with everything we have learned from your own technology. The battle ended, not with humanity's destruction, but with the Council Fleet's retreat. 5 alien ships limped away from Earth orbit, their weapons disabled and their crews shaken by the impossible sight of primitives using their own technology against them. But the real victory wasn't in space. It was happening across the galaxy as Taemin's final message reached every oppressed world. To every species listening to this transmission, know that freedom is possible. You don't have to live under Council authority. Join us in creating something new, a galaxy where every species stands as equals, where diversity is celebrated instead of erased, where cooperation replaces domination. Dr. So-Jin monitored the responses flooding in from across the galaxy. Admiral, we're receiving communications from 47 different species. They want to know more about our proposal. The Kepler government has officially withdrawn from Council military operations. 3 other species are calling for emergency sessions of their ruling councils. On the Council's capital world, emergency meetings began immediately. For 10,000 years, their authority had never been questioned. No primitive species had ever successfully resisted integration. Now, not only had humanity defied them, but they had inspired others to do the same. The galactic communication networks buzzed with activity as species after species began to question the system they had lived under for millennia. Underground resistance movements that had existed in secret for centuries suddenly found themselves with millions of new supporters. The careful order that the Council had maintained through fear and overwhelming force was beginning to crack. Sir, we're detecting massive fleet movements throughout Council space, reported Jin-Ho. It looks like they're preparing for a major military response. Admiral Taemin nodded grimly. Expected. But look at this. He pointed to the tactical display showing the galaxy-wide situation. 12 species have officially withdrawn their ships from Council fleets. The Vorthon Empire is refusing to contribute forces. Even some of the founding Council species are calling for diplomatic solutions instead of military ones. The revolution had begun with a simple message. You don't have to bow. In 7 minutes of space combat and 1 galactic broadcast, humanity had accomplished what thousands of years of oppression had made seem impossible. They had shown the galaxy that resistance was not only possible, it could succeed. As reports continued to pour in from across the galaxy, Dr. So-Jin realized the true magnitude of what had happened. Admiral, I don't think we just saved Earth. I think we may have saved the entire galaxy. The Council's response would come soon. More ships, more weapons, more threats. But something fundamental had changed. The galaxy had seen a species stand up and fight back successfully. More importantly, they had seen a species offer cooperation instead of domination, partnership instead of vassalage. Earth had answered the Council's ultimatum with defiance and smiles. Now the galaxy was learning to smile back. 3 weeks after humanity's galactic broadcast, the revolution was spreading faster than the Council could contain it. On the industrial world of Mechanos Prime, Captain Heywan stood before a crowd of 10,000 factory workers, her words translated into their native clicking language by the alien communication device on her collar. The Council told you that work quotas were necessary for galactic prosperity, she said, her voice carrying across the vast assembly hall. But have you ever seen any of that prosperity? Have your living conditions improved in the 300 years since your world joined the Council? The workers clicked their response in unison, a sound like 1,000 typewriters working at once. The translation device rendered their words, "No, nothing has changed. Nothing ever changes." Haywan smiled, the same defiant smile that had become humanity's symbol across the galaxy. Then maybe it's time for change. Back on Earth, the Sol Command Center had become the unofficial headquarters of what the galactic media was calling the Free Species Alliance. Communications. Officer Yongsu coordinated with rebel groups on dozens of worlds, using the quantum communication network to maintain contact across the galaxy. "Admiral, we're receiving reports from the Kepler homeworld," Yongsu announced. "They've officially declared independence from the Council. Their military is refusing to follow Council orders, and they're requesting membership in our alliance." Admiral Taemin studied the tactical displays showing the changing political map of the galaxy. Green dots marked worlds that had declared independence, yellow showed those considering it, and red indicated worlds still under full Council control. The green dots were multiplying daily. "What about the Council's response?" he asked. Dr. Sojin provided the intelligence update from her monitoring station. "Military Commander Drakthos is trying to assemble a massive punitive fleet, but he's facing serious problems. Half the species that used to provide ships are now in open rebellion. The others are experiencing what they're calling technical difficulties and communication failures." She brought up intercepted communications from Council military bases. Ships were mysteriously developing engine problems. Computer systems were crashing. Entire crews were calling in sick. It was the kind of passive resistance that the galaxy had never seen before. Because before humanity's broadcast, no one had believed resistance was possible. Engineer Daun appeared on screen from the underwater research facility, her latest discovery glowing in her hands. "Admiral, we've made another breakthrough with the alien technology. We can now manufacture these power cores ourselves. We're not dependent on salvage anymore." This was crucial news. Earth's initial advantage had come from the crashed alien scout, but that technology was limited. Now, with the ability to create their own alien-enhanced systems, humanity could offer real technological assistance to their new allies. Cultural anthropologist Min Jung has some interesting findings to report, Dr. Sojin announced. Min Jung's image appeared from her research center in Busan. Behind her, walls covered with artwork, music recordings, and cultural artifacts from dozens of alien worlds told a story of suppressed civilizations. "Admiral, I've been working with refugees from Council worlds, and what we've discovered is remarkable. These species didn't just lose their political independence, they've been systematically stripped of their cultural identities." She displayed holographic images of Kepler art from before their integration into the Council. The bird-like beings had created incredible three-dimensional sculptures that seemed to dance in the air. They were master artists, creating works that incorporated sound, light, and movement. The Council banned these art forms as inefficient and non-productive. More images followed, crystal collective music that could heal psychological trauma, Vorthan poetry that was said to reveal mathematical truths about the universe, and dozens of other cultural treasures that had been buried under centuries of enforced conformity. "The good news," Min Jung continued, "is that these traditions survived underground. Hidden communities kept the old ways alive in secret. Our broadcast didn't just give them permission to rebel politically, it gave them permission to be themselves again." Reports were flooding in from across the galaxy. On Vorthan Prime, ancient poetry circles were emerging from hiding and sharing their work publicly for the first time in centuries. Crystal collective worlds were resonating with healing songs that hadn't been heard for generations. The Kepler were creating new air sculptures that combined their traditional techniques with modern materials. "It's a cultural renaissance," Min Jung explained. "Species are remembering who they used to be before the Council reshaped them. And they're creating new forms of expression that combine their heritage with their recent experiences." But the Council wasn't sitting idle. Communications specialist Yunji reported increasing military activity in Council space. "They're consolidating forces on 3 major worlds, their core military bases. It looks like they're preparing for a massive counterattack." The tactical situation was complex. The Free Species Alliance now included 17 worlds and was growing daily. But they were scattered across the galaxy with little military coordination. The Council still controlled the major trade routes and military installations. If they could organize a coordinated response, they might be able to crush the rebellion before it grew too large. "Admiral, Incoming priority transmission from the Kepler Council of Voices, Jiangsu announced. The screen displayed three tall, elegant bird-like beings, their feathers shimmering with colors that conveyed complex emotions. When they spoke, their voices harmonized in a way that was both beautiful and urgent. "Admiral Taemin of Earth," they said in perfect unison. "We bring greetings from the Free Kepler Nation and a proposal for formal alliance. Our fleets will stand with yours. Our worlds will provide resources, and our people will fight for the freedom you have shown us is possible." Similar messages arrived throughout the day. The Crystal Collective offered their advanced communication networks. The Vorthon Empire provided detailed intelligence about Council military capabilities. Smaller species contributed what they could: food, raw materials, safe harbors for refugee ships. Dr. Sojin made another crucial discovery while analyzing Council communications. "Admiral, I've found something important. The original Council species, the ones who created this system 10,000 years ago, they're not united anymore either." She displayed intercepted communications between the founding members. "The Dominion leadership is split. Half of them want to negotiate with us, while the other half wants to destroy Earth as an example to other rebellious species. And there are 3 founding species that are quietly questioning whether their system is worth preserving." This intelligence changed everything. The Council wasn't just facing external rebellion, it was fracturing from within. 10,000 years of authoritarian rule had created deep resentments even among the ruling species. Many had joined the system to avoid being conquered, and they had never forgotten what they had lost. "Send a message to the Council founders," Admiral Taemin decided. "Offer them the same thing we've offered everyone else: partnership instead of domination, cooperation instead of control. Make it clear that our alliance has room for everyone willing to treat others as equals." The message went out on all Council frequencies, addressed directly to the founding species. It was another unprecedented act. No one had ever directly challenged the Council's authority structure, while simultaneously offering them a way to preserve their dignity. The response came within hours. 3 of the 7 founding species agreed to secret negotiations. 2 more requested detailed information about humanity's proposals. Only 2 species, led by military commander Drakthos's faction, remained completely committed to crushing the rebellion. As reports continued to arrive from across the galaxy, a new picture emerged. The Free Species Alliance wasn't just a military rebellion. It was a cultural and social revolution that was transforming the entire galaxy. Species were not only reclaiming their political independence, but rediscovering their identities, their traditions, and their dreams. Engineer Hyunwoo's voice came through from the orbital construction facility humanity had established using alien technology. "Admiral, the first of our new ships is ready for testing. We've incorporated design elements from 6 different allied species. It's not just human technology anymore. It's truly galactic." The ship that appeared on screen was unlike anything ever built. It combined human engineering with Kepler aerodynamics, Crystal collective energy systems, and Vorthon defensive technologies. Most importantly, it had been designed by representatives from all the contributing species working together as equals. Admiral Taemin smiled as he looked at humanity's greatest creation, not a weapon or a technology, but an idea that had inspired an entire galaxy to stand up and demand something better. The Council had offered order through dominance. Humanity had offered something infinitely more powerful: hope through cooperation. The galaxy was learning to smile back, and that smile was becoming impossible to stop. 6 months after the ultimatum that had changed the galaxy, Earth's blue skies filled with ships from hundreds of different worlds. They came not as conquerors or overlords, but as equals gathering to celebrate the birth of something unprecedented in galactic history: the Galactic Cooperative Assembly. Admiral Taemin stood on the observation deck of the Seoul Unity Center, watching as vessels of every conceivable design settled onto landing platforms across the city. Kepler ships moved like graceful birds through the atmosphere. Crystal collective vessels sang harmonious tones as they descended. Even former Council enforcement ships, now flying the banners of liberated worlds, joined the magnificent aerial parade. 67 species confirmed for the signing ceremony, reported Communications Coordinator Jiangsu, who had been promoted to handle the massive diplomatic operation. including representatives from 5 of the original Council founding species. The transformation of the galaxy had been faster and more complete than anyone had imagined possible. The authoritarian council that had ruled for 10,000 years had collapsed not through military defeat, but through the simple realization that there was a better way to live among the stars. Dr. Sojin approached with the final draft of the Galactic Cooperative Assembly Charter, a document that had been crafted through months of negotiation between dozens of species. The translation teams have finished the final version. Every species will hear the charter in their own language using concepts from their own cultural traditions. The charter was unlike any document in galactic history. Instead of establishing hierarchy and control, it created a framework for voluntary cooperation. No species would bow to another. No culture would be erased in the name of unity. Diversity would be celebrated as the source of strength, not suppressed as a threat to order. Captain Jae-hyun, who had become one of the Assembly's first diplomatic coordinators, reviewed the ceremony arrangements. The representatives are gathering in the main hall. Everyone agreed to the seating arrangement. No elevated platforms, no special positions. All species represented equally. This had been one of the most challenging aspects of the new system. Species that had dominated others for centuries had to learn to sit beside those they had once ruled. Former subjects had to overcome centuries of conditioned submission, but slowly, carefully, the galaxy was learning a new way to interact. Artist Subin had been documenting the cultural renaissance that followed the political revolution. Her gallery in the Unity Center displayed artwork from species that had been forbidden to create for generations. Admiral, you should see the collaboration pieces. The Kepler and Vorthen are working together on something they're calling mathematical air sculptures, poetry that dances in 3 dimensions according to quantum equations. It's unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. The ceremony began with something that would have been impossible under the old council system. A moment of silence for all those who had died under authoritarian rule, followed by a celebration of the diversity that made each species unique, instead of the rigid uniformity the council had demanded. The assembly hall blazed with color, sound, and movement as 67 different cultures expressed their joy in their own ways. Former Ambassador Velthar approached Admiral Taemin before the formal signing began. The blue-skinned diplomat looked older than when he had first arrived at Earth, but his expression carried something that had been absent during their first meeting: genuine respect. "Admiral," he said, his translation device rendering his words in perfect Korean, "I owe you an apology. When we first met, I saw primitive beings who needed guidance. I failed to see that you had something we had forgotten: the wisdom to know that true civilization comes from cooperation, not domination." Taemin accepted the apology gracefully. "Ambassador, your species joined the council under the same ultimatum you gave us. You did what you thought was necessary to survive. Today we all have the chance to do better." The signing ceremony itself took 3 hours as representatives from each species added their agreement to the charter. Some signed with traditional writing instruments, others used bioluminescent secretions, and a few species expressed their consent through complex harmonic frequencies that were translated into written form. Cultural mediator Na Young, who had helped negotiate disputes between former enemies, watched with satisfaction as species that had fought each other for centuries now worked together on the charter's implementation. "It's not perfect," she admitted to Dr. Sojin. "There are still disagreements, still conflicts, but now we have a way to resolve them peacefully." The charter established several revolutionary principles that would guide galactic civilization. No species would be forced to join the assembly. Membership was entirely voluntary, and any member could leave at any time without penalty. All species would retain their cultural autonomy. The assembly would not interfere in internal affairs unless specifically requested by the species themselves. Disputes would be resolved through mediation and negotiation, never through force. Technology and knowledge would be shared freely among members, with no species hoarding advantages over others. Trade would be conducted fairly, with smaller species protected from exploitation by larger ones. Perhaps most importantly, the charter established that the assembly's authority came not from military might or ancient tradition, but from the continued consent of its members. Every 3 years, each species would vote on whether to continue their membership and what changes they wanted to see in the system. Philosopher Wu Jin, who had helped write the philosophical foundations of the new system, addressed the assembly as the ceremony concluded. For 10,000 years, this galaxy knew only one way to organize civilization, through the dominance of the strong over the weak. Today we choose a different path. We choose to stand together as equals, not because we must, but because we can achieve more together than any of us could alone. The celebration that followed lasted for 3 days. The streets of Seoul filled with beings from across the galaxy, all mingling freely in a display of diversity that the old council would never have permitted. Food from hundreds of worlds was shared openly. Music from dozens of cultures blended into new forms of artistic expression. Children from different species played together, creating friendships that would span the stars. Engineer Hyunwoo unveiled the assembly's first joint project, a massive space station that would serve as a neutral meeting ground for diplomatic negotiations. Built using technology from 30 different species, it represented the best of what cooperation could achieve. It's not just a space station, he explained. It's proof that when species work together as equals, we can accomplish things that no single civilization could achieve alone. In the months that followed, the galaxy began to flourish in ways it never had under council rule. Trade flourished as species shared their unique technologies and resources. Art and culture experienced a renaissance as suppressed traditions emerged and combined with new influences. Scientific research accelerated as species collaborated instead of competing. Most importantly, conflicts that had seemed intractable under the old system began to find peaceful solutions. The Assembly's mediation services, staffed by representatives from multiple species, helped resolve disputes through understanding rather than force. Admiral Tae-min, now serving as one of the Assembly's rotating coordinators, watched the transformation with quiet satisfaction. The position rotated every 6 months between different species, ensuring that no single group could accumulate too much power. In 2 weeks, he would turn over leadership to a representative from the Crystal Collective, who would be followed by a Kepler philosopher, then a Vorthan scientist. "We did it," Dr. Sojin said, joining him on the observation deck as Earth's sun set behind a sky full of ships from across the galaxy. "We actually changed everything." Taemin nodded, but his expression remained thoughtful. "We started it, but this is just the beginning. Building a truly free galaxy will take generations. There will be setbacks, conflicts, species that try to return to the old ways of domination and control. But now they know there's an alternative," Sojin replied. "Every time someone tries to make others bow, there will be voices saying, 'You don't have to.' Every time a species faces the choice between submission and resistance, they'll remember that resistance can succeed." The ceremony concluded with the lighting of the Unity Beacon, a quantum lighthouse that would broadcast a simple message to every corner of the galaxy. Here stands a galaxy where no one has to bow. Here stands proof that cooperation is stronger than domination, that diversity is more valuable than conformity, and that freedom is worth fighting for. As the beacon's light reached out across the stars, carrying humanity's gift of hope to worlds not yet ready to embrace it, Admiral Taemin smiled. The Galactic Council had ordered Earth to bow. Humanity had responded with defiance and smiles. Now the entire galaxy was learning to smile back, standing tall and free among the stars. The age of authoritarian rule was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And it all started with a simple human truth. No one should have to bow to anyone else.